The Sound of My Voice is a smoke and mirror sci-fi thriller. There are no spectacular effects, no other planets, only the possibility of time travel, which you cannot demonstrate but can only discuss. In truth, it's probably not science fiction at all, but something from the old Weird Tales magazine. Zal Batmanglij directed the American psychological thriller film, which starred Christopher Denham, Nicole Vicius, and Brit Marling in his featured directional debut. The story revolves around two documentary filmmakers who want to expose a cult led by a charismatic leader, Marling, who claims to be from the future. Batmanglij and Marling wrote the screenplay. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel, Movie Story. Today we'll be doing a recap of the movie, Sound of My Voice. Before getting into the video, make sure to like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to avoid missing updates. Spoiler alert ahead, folks. Capturing amazement and mystery on film without the use of special effects and camera trickery is a difficult achievement. Sound of My Voice does this with a handshake. Sound of My Voice is a tiny art house film directed by Zal Batmanglij, who co-wrote the screenplay with Brit Marling. It intimately examines huge topics. A major part of the film takes place in the basement of a remote farmhouse outside of Los Angeles and has a documentary feel. Now let's begin. The Sound of My Voice is a superb examination of the cult mind and its induction methods. It's also a deftly produced analysis of how even the seemingly strongest people may be torn down in embracing the ostensibly true realities they're hearing. One of the first and most critical components was recording Maggie's accolades in the act of standardizing each activity. A child is observed in the corner having their blood sucked from the moment Peter and Lorna enter the basement. It's a weird sight to see, but only Peter and the camera notice it. You accept it and move on while having little comprehension of the rationale. Lorna and Peter are a couple. Lorna is a new writer, and Peter is a substitute teacher. They're breaking into investigative journalism and will put themselves through a lot to get their first major story. In Los Angeles, substitute school teacher Peter and aspiring writer Lorna are a couple in their 20s making a film documentary. Their subject is a secretive cult led by the mysterious Maggie, whom they plan to expose as a fraud. When the cult considers Peter and Lorna ready to meet Maggie, they're made to shower thoroughly and dress in white surgical gowns. Then they're driven blindfolded to a secret basement location and received by Klaus, with whom they exchange the distinctive, intricate handshake, which they've been practicing. Peter and Lorna then join 8 other members and meet Maggie, who uses an oxygen tank and implies that the showering and clothing requirements are to avoid aggravating her illness. They're blindfolded and led to Maggie, a captivating guru who claims to be from the future and looks to be guiding her followers on a deadly mission. To be allowed an audience, the couple must shower and exchange a complex handshake that appears to have been invented in the ghetto by a secret club of patty cake enthusiasts. They're love-bombed by the other members of the Little Order after they've passed their initial screening. Maggie is first seen via the eyes of the supplicants. We can see her feet in the oxygen tank she's transporting behind her. She wears a shroud and thanks everyone for their precautions. She takes them through her birth and into this period while condescendingly warning them that their minds may not be ready. She is a time traveler. Peter is aggressive at first. He comes from a cult that devoured his family, and he believes that everybody who believes is an empty sucker yearning for purpose. Lorna is open to the possibility of someone from the year 2054 paying her a visit. She has a history of prosperity, extravagance, and addiction. They're both defective items. They both require assistance. Maggie is a brilliant manipulator who's skilled at putting notions in the minds of the pilgrims. The suspense grows as we witness them adopt Maggie's claims as to their own. We feel for them when they are taken from the charismatic woman's presence and robbed of her loving energy. There are no specters in the screen's corners. Maggie asserts that she's a time traveler from the year 2054. She describes the future as littered with conflict, famine, and strife, and she's returned to choose a unique band of chosen people to prepare for what is to come. She guides them through a series of intensive psychological exercises and tells them about herself in the future without proving or disproving her incredible claim. Maggie has a magnetic personality, and both Lorna and Peter have moments when they're torn between skepticism and belief. Lorna is particularly disturbed when she realizes that Peter, who was previously sure that Maggie was a scam, appears to be intrigued, if not drawn, to Maggie. There are no pop-ups. There is the terror of belief, and it becomes so ordinary that we're lulled into expecting danger when none exists. Lorna receives a lesson in trust and gun from one of Maggie's acolytes while alone in the woods, apart from her partner and vulnerable in an entirely new way. She looks to have a natural flair for photography, which makes her pleased, but it also implies that she may need to learn how to shoot. After many group meetings, Maggie tells Peter to bring her the eccentric 8-year-old Abigail Pritchett, one of his students. Maggie argues that Abigail is her mother and that if he does not agree, Peter and Lorna will be expelled from the group. Lorna is enraged when Peter admits to pondering obeying Maggie's commands and accuses him of falling for Maggie's lie. Lorna is approached privately by Carol, a lady who introduces herself as a Justice Department agent after they dispute. Carol informs Lorna that Maggie is sought for several offenses. Lorna agrees to put Maggie up for capture and keep this plot a secret from Peter. Is this some sort of survivalist cult? Peter and Lorna have no idea where the compound is or how big it is. They've been propelled mindlessly back and forth, seeing just what they've been given. The test of their integrity become more challenging as Maggie's facade looks eroding. When asked to sing a future hit, she sings a former song. When asked to describe a future event, she responds by challenging what we remember about the past. How far is she willing to go with her followers if she can make them throw up an apple with the power of suggestion? And how far are they willing to go? Peter seems prepared to snatch a child from the school where he works. Although he's not shot any film, Peter has concealed himself behind his journalistic integrity. He wants faith, but is hungry for proof. Hungry enough to jeopardize his work and commit a crime for what may be a reverse mother and child reunion or something more sinister. What would a cult leader expect from a young girl? Lorna is told by a government agent named Carol, but the audience is forced to assume the worst. We're forced to speculate because even the film's most revelatory scene reveals nothing. The climax is a letdown. We were promised an answer, but we got more mystery as Peter plays Judas handing the lamb to the slaughter. That is faith. Except for the attorneys, no one wins. Peter arranges for Maggie to meet the student in public, at the La Brea Tar Pits on a class field trip, with Lorna's assistance. Peter is astounded to watch Maggie and the tiny girl complete the cult's complicated handshake without saying anything. Maggie reverently responds to Abigail's questions about how she learned her secret handshake. "You taught it to me." Police officers barge into the room and apprehend Maggie. As cult members accuse Peter of betraying Maggie, he shares a gaze with Lorna, who softly smiles, confirming her role in Maggie's capture. Abigail then asks Peter who Maggie is, and he replies, stunned that he has no idea. And so the film concludes. And that concluded this off-the-beat movie that definitely sets us off track for a while. That's all we've got for today, guys. Don't hesitate to like the video and leave a comment telling us how much you enjoyed this movie. Make sure to watch other exciting movie recaps like Venom and Her. We'll see you in the following video. Till then, goodbye.